Hey everybody, Adrian here. I hope that you're doing amazing. So in this video, I want to speak about the perceived dangers of regression hypnosis. And the reason why I am recording this, and I think I'm going to do a couple of these, I did in a previous one as well, and this is the video that I promised will follow on this, and that one was just about basic regression hypnosis and sort of what it is and the whole past life phenomena, because what really happened is that past life obviously became, or past life regression became a thing a couple of years ago. There were a number of really influential people in that came to what we now know as regression hypnosis, because past life regression is really regression hypnosis. You tap into the allness, the all sourceness, the quantum field of all knowing and knowledge, and past life regression was the term that I would say sort of made it all a household name. And some of you may be familiar with names like Dolores Cannon, Sigmund Freud. What is this other dude's name? Can't remember his name now, but he was quite incredible as well. But regression hypnosis got a huge lineage, of different people that have had really an amazing impact on it. And even with a more modern, adapted, really fantastic modality of regression hypnosis as well, called Beyond Quantum Healing. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a link for you in the bottom. So if any of you are interested in Beyond Quantum Healing, you can contact them directly. At the point of me doing this, it was developed by this amazing lady called Candace Goldman, who's got a real heart of gold. And she was with Dolores Cannon for many, many years. And Dolores Cannon was one of the, I would say, the American pioneer, really, maybe Europe as well, of regression hypnosis. And she used to call her modality QHHT, which was quantum healing hypnosis technique. So what we then have is, Milton Erickson was the other guy's name, who was amazing. Oh, he was amazing. And Milton Erickson, he really discovered, I promise I'm not going to go off point here, but he discovered that when you present the human mind with certain things in certain ways, it's got a certain way of reacting. And, when we think of speaking proper English, for example, is and are, and, we and us and whatever, those sort of things, that we often don't get right or confused maybe when English is not your first language. But what he discovered is when we give the mind certain things in certain ways, that it reacts in certain, in specific ways. And obviously then I studied NLP and CBT, and it just went to next level. And it's absolutely amazing. All right. Anyway, so with the dangers of regression hypnosis, the reason why I put it like that is because there is not as broad an understanding of what regression hypnosis really is and what the benefits of it are. And I think as a practicing regression hypnosis practitioner, who deals with a lot of people, who obviously has a lot of clients, and a lot of times the clients understand already what's going on. But sometimes people don't actually understand, and I feel that it's my responsibility to share information with others as well, because my goal in all that I do is for humanity to expand and to to discover this beautiful potential within them. Because I don't know if you know, but of every human being on this planet has got literally billions and billions and billions of potential within them, things that you're born with, birthright potential that you're born with, but it's never unlocked within you. Humans in general use less than 1% of their actual potential. So regression hypnosis helps you to unlock the potential within yourself, within your DNA. And when we speak about things like light language encoding and DNA activation and all those type of things, connecting to your higher self and to your counsel and all those type of things, that is really what regression hypnosis does for you. And it does you boom, flash in one session. All right. Now, somebody asked me the other day, an amazing person asked me the other day, and this is somebody who's a psychic medium, so it's just a lot of card readings, and this person really wanted to understand sort of like the intricacies around changing emotional attachments during a session. And I actually thought it was a wonderful question to ask, and this lady actually asked me more questions. I said, just keep on asking me because I'm happy to answer. Because it's all about spreading awareness, and possibility and positivity and those sort of things. So what the person wanted to know is Okay, let me put it like that. So when you're in a state of trance, all right, we're not trying to change anything. All you do is, if there's a negative sort of like emotional connotation that you have to something, we try to change that. All right. Now, the way that it's seen sometimes is that you've got a certain set path in life that you have to live, things that have to happen in this life, which is true. But I think sometimes we see the path as very straight. You know, and the way that I like to explain it is like, I live in Cape Town CBD, the small central parts. And say, let's say you live in more of the, maybe on the outskirts of Cape Town. So you want to come to me. There are several routes to get to me. By the end of the line, you still get to me. All right. And so what really happens is during a session, so you've got a certain life path and you're still heading in the same direction. All right. But when we almost get a broader view of things, when you get to see like, that is where I'm holding myself back, this is that person's limiting thoughts and beliefs that is holding me back over here. Maybe you've got a voice of your parent or whoever in your head that said to you, well, we are poor, we're probably never going to amount to anything in life, or you're never going to amount to anything in life, you're so stupid, you're so slow, you're so whatever. um, a lot of times that becomes our belief in life, and because it becomes your belief in life, your subconscious has to honor that. So we can actually start creating problems for ourselves from our subconscious belief about who we are. So you can actually see how having a negative belief within yourself really isn't the most um, practical thing to have in your life. And so what you really have is, so let's make an example that, let's say as a child that you were abused. All right, so this is your path of life. And because you were abused as a child, your abuser maybe said certain things and did certain things, and that formed a core belief about who you are. So as you go forward in your path of life, from all the different possibilities that there are, because of your core belief, there are certain things that, certain possibilities that will be right in front of your eyes, and you won't even see it. And that is why a lot of times in life, sometimes people say, but like, how did you miss that? Because it was right in front of you. But because it doesn't form part of your foundational truth, your subconscious mind blinds you to that. So when you then, for example, have a regression hypnosis session, and when somebody typically comes to me, they'll say like, I've got some troubles with confidence, with phobias, with public speaking, with flying, with relationships, with holding a job, with finances. Maybe I'm very good at making money, but I'm not very good at keeping money. With my health, I keep on having up and down. Whatever your problem is, in regression hypnosis, we don't look at the problem, because a lot of times, I feel that we try to fix the problem. Now, I want you to understand that I'm not sort of like against that either, because I'm a Reiki practitioner, I'm a Reiki master, I teach Reiki, I do crystal healing, I do sound healing. So there's a lot of things that I do, but that along with all sound healing, tachyons, all sorts of things that we do. We often try to, scent is a wonderful one as well. And scent is actually quite good. Aromatherapy, it's amazing, But a lot of times you're trying to take an outside thing to fix an inside problem. But instead of trying to fix the problem, in regression hypnosis, we understand that the problem that you have, the inconvenience, the pest, whatever you want to call it, the bad relationship with your neighbors or whatever, or your relationship, jobs, whatever, it is a manifestation of a deeper truth within yourself that is causing this to happen. So what we look is, okay, so this is the problem. Where did it originate? We go to that origin and said, okay, so as a child you were abused. And remember, a lot of times your mind suppresses things. So you may not consciously be aware of what it is that's creating your problems for you. So you go and you say, okay, so this is what happened. Now, we're not trying to change the past, because, it is what it was. But you say, I choose to detach emotionally from that. So the emotional investment that I have in there, which makes me believe that I'm not good enough, that I'm not strong enough, that I'm not wise and clever and whatever enough. So I choose to no longer believe that. I choose to take my energy back, and to no longer invest my energy in this belief that is not serving me positively. And so I choose to no longer be a victim. I choose to no longer believe that I'm stupid and that I'm not good enough and that I'm not strong enough. And that pattern, which could have been maybe you were chopping wood as a child and you were told that you're not good enough, that pattern can carry forth with why your marriage is a problem, or you can't get married. You can maybe stay, in a relationship, or what is the thing where you get a ring? I'm clearly not married, engaged or whatever, or but you don't get married, or when you realize that the person's about to propose, or maybe you like just so dating, and the reason why I use love is because love is something that is so relatable for everybody. Okay, because everybody wants love. Because when you find a beautiful connection of love, it there's possibility that unlock within you that you just that won't unlock without the connection. And but that's a story for a different day. Okay, but anyway, so when you no longer choose to believe subconsciously that you are not good enough, and you forgive that, and you forgive yourself for the circumstance that you created within your own life from this belief, and you forgive the person who did this to you, understanding that maybe they didn't know any better. Maybe you thought your parents were these horrible people, but if they didn't know better, they couldn't do better. Maybe this come from way generations back with them, and you can look at the previous video that is going to speak to you quite a bit about how past life regression really works, which is actually quite fascinating. But so when you no longer believe that you're not good enough, now you still take the same path to me from where you are, but it's in essence, it's almost like you become aware of different parts that you were not aware of before. So so even though there are certain set things in life that are meant to happen, I think we are very committed sometimes to this is how it must happen. That is it, and an example, for example, something that happened that made this person concerned is that the person that you were seeing, they believe, now I don't know the full story fully, but I believe there were 4 stars on this person's back. I don't know if they were physical stars or like spiritual seeing or whatever. But the other one was believed to be a child that will come into this person's life. And now, after regression hypnosis session with me, the star was no longer there. So there was a little bit of a moment of flat panic. It's like, well, here's the thing. When you change, everything else changes. But that doesn't have to mean that it's a negative thing. It could maybe be that the same energy now has different ways of coming into your life, because remember, everything is already here. Nothing is new. Nothing needs to be created. Energy always existed. Energy can be changed, but it can't really be created or destroyed. So the thing to understand is that even though we make some changes within the mind, it's not so much about creating new things in the mind. Regression hypnosis is really about releasing those beliefs that are no longer serving you positively. So if this white t-shirt is not gonna work anymore, instead of making the t-shirt bad and making it horrible and putting up a big sign about how bad the t-shirt is, or I don't know, trying to create a new fashion line from dirty t-shirts and stuff like that. It's about simply taking it off and saying, you no longer serve me positively, and maybe putting something else on that does serve you positively. Okay. I think also very quickly just to mention is that every time we recall a memory differently based on the frame of mind that you are in. So when you do regression hypnosis, there is a part before doing any exploration where it's explained to you. Let's first go to a safe space, what you see as safety and protection and highest good, etc., etc., etc. So you start off with a high vibration, because remember, when your vibration is high, you're not really an energetic match for sort of like lowery, crappery sort of things. I think the one, oh, sorry, also, with your induction, which is the part that you are being given certain cues in the beginning of the session, it's explained to you that you're in full control. You're still aware of everything that's happening around you, just choose to not pay too much attention to it. Nobody can really make you do anything that goes against your moral values. And I mean, people have really tried disgustingly in, sort of like war times and trying to control the world and genocide and all of those type of things, back in the days of the Hitlers and the World Wars and the Cold Wars and all those really things where people were trying to control other people. based on greed. So they tried a whole lot of really horrible things, which I won't go into, but the human mind is really powerful. And if there's any sense of imminent danger whatsoever during a session, you will actually become fully present without anybody needing to say something. And your senses really enhance because you don't pay so much attention to the outside world. It's the inner one. So you're very aware of, I would say, almost the amazing ability of your senses. So you may be, say, on the fifth floor and on the ground floor there's a gas leak. You will wake up and you will somehow know it. You may not know that it's a gas leak, but you may need, I think I need to go, I don't want to be here, that sort of thing. Now, those cases are far and few in between, but it can happen, okay? And I would say if you deal with anybody who really knows what they're doing, then your life should get better going forward. You know, it's important to follow the instructions that the regression hypnosis practitioner gives you after the session. I always say to people, I want to be with you at least 20 minutes after the session, because even though you're awake, your mind is highly susceptible to suggestion. So if you get exposed to something negative, say maybe 15 minutes after your session, immediately your mind is going to absorb that as a passive positive or as a truth for you. All right. I think the other one also, and this is something that you want to be very mindful of, is that sometimes people just try to do too many things. You know, I always say to you, I suggest that you take a chill for at least a month or two after the session, give the energy some time to settle in, because everything, boom, can't just come into your life like that. It'll be too overwhelming for your mind. And if you try to overwhelm your mind, the subconscious is going to kick in, it's going to say, this is too much for you to handle. And then it's going to start almost like turning you against the positive. So it's very important to follow the suggestions of the hypnosis practitioner post-session, you know. I always say don't try to do too many things, because I think sometimes people get excited and they do a session and then next thing they're studying Reiki and then they're working with crystals and then they're drawing cards, and it's a whole lot of energy that you're trying to channel through this body that is trying to connect with something else though. So be patient with yourself, okay? If you're interested in more information, you're more than welcome to visit my website, ahngreatlife.com. There's a link for it down below in the description. You can send me an email if you've got any questions. I do online sessions as well as in-person sessions. There's a belief that the in-person sessions is more powerful than the online. Not true. And I look forward to connecting with you from my heart. Namaste. Love and light. If you've got any questions, feel more than welcome to reach out and to connect. If you have any other things that you maybe want to make me to make some videos on, you're more than welcome to reach out. I'll be happy to do that as well. And may the rest of your life be the best of your life. Bye.